Welcome back, dear viewers. You're still watching Nile Cruise with Ronald Assas and myself, Mohammed Abdelrahim, here from the Monastery Palace in Nile in the heart of Cairo. Well, you know, dear viewers, tourism acts as a vital economic sector. Though revenues generated by tourism in general are below expected levels, not because nobody is working. Actually, the government and non-governmental organizations are working, but because Egypt has so much potential. This is simply Egypt. Unlimited potential. And when we say that we are not achieving the levels we want or we wish for, again, it's because we have so much potential, and we're specifically talking about domestic tourism here in this segment and not just foreign tourism. And we have the pleasure to introduce you now in our episode, our dear guest. She is Dr. Mona Al-Akkad, consultant of hearing and balance disorders, and also a founder of the Walk and Know Your Country initiative. Dr. Mona, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A very good day, Dr. Mona, and it's a pleasure to have you with us in today's episode of Nile Cruise. Dr. Mona, at the start of today's segment, I'd like to ask you, you launched this initiative to organize trips to many places in Egypt or around Egypt that we as Egyptians are not aware of their importance. How did you get this idea, or how did you come up with this idea?
First of all, I started 4 years ago by biking group, and it was my favorite sports. But you know, not every place you can ride the bike. But we started, and we were getting bigger in our people joining. But the women and mothers of the kids were joining, asked me to make a ride for walking, because they couldn't join the biking group. So I started walking group and every different areas. And then I started to think why we don't walk in the agriculture and the places where we can find the history of our country and know more about our history of the country. Especially Egypt is considered to be the second country for tourism importance. And actually, ancient Egyptian civilization is the basically for tourism.
Right, absolutely, Dr. Mona. So tell me about some of the places that you toured while walking with your group.
I started by choosing the nearest areas. As you see, it's not far away. Like here, Monastery Palace and Kulthum Museum, Muhammad Ali Palace, and the castle and pyramids. Many places, and like the Wadi Degla Reserve. It's very new for us to go these areas and visit it and enjoying our time the whole day and thinking about what were they were doing before in this area and what can we do for our country. God distinguished Egypt to be a distinctive qualities which made Egypt to be the most important country in the Middle East, geographically, culturally, and politically.
Okay, Mona, you started, as you mentioned, with the biking because it's your favorite sport. And the mothers of the kids asked you to make it walking. Where did you start biking? In which place of Egypt or in which part of Egypt did you start biking?
I started biking in New Cairo.
New Cairo.
Yeah.
And from New Cairo, where did you go biking?
The second place was Maadi.
Maadi, then?
And then Manuel. And then we go far away, Salah Salim Street, which is a little bit
crowded. Dangerous for bikers.
A little bit.
And
Yeah.
is it facilitated, Mona, here in Cairo, in different places, to go biking as a female? Is it easy and facilitated and fine when you go a crowd biking? It's okay.
Actually, I found it easy, not too difficult like I heard. It was like, when you be in a group, it's much easier than you are alone. And the people, maybe years ago, it was a little bit
Weird.
different and new for them, new idea. But now I guess no.
Right, especially if you do it early in the morning,
Yes,
you will
yes,
avoid the
we
car
should.
traffic, and of course the weather will be much nicer. So, Dr. Mona, you said that one of the places you toured while walking with your group was Al Ministerial Palace, the place we are filming here in now. What do you like specifically about this place? What has impressed you the most?
The construction of the building and the view on the Nile, and of course, Kulthum Museum. This brings me highly positive. Let me tell you something. You may consider it medically. Positivity plays a role in taking actions. The frontal lobe, where the straightening the areas for cognition. So thoughts in your minds change to actions, as we used to think. And many people used to say, I would like to do, I would like to go, I would like to think, I would like to plan. But actually, how many do? How many go? How many joining?
Wonderful.
Mona, of course, you're an audiologist and you're a very busy person, of course. How do you manage to find time for your initiative?
When you love something, you would like to do it hardly. As you said before in the beginning of the program, you said I'm balance and hearing consultant. So life is a balance, and we have to balance between our habits and working. Life is not only work.
Absolutely. Now, Dr. Mona, what do you think are the major challenges that face domestic tourism in specific, local tourism in specific? The major challenges.
Uh,
Why are we not making enough revenues from it as we should? And why are we not seeing more local or domestic tourists?
if we didn't know our basically Egypt history, we would never think to take a step forward. Knowing about our history is a mandatory. As tourism in any country, it's important economically and for many reasons. Tourism is very important, and we have to encourage tourism in our country. Especially, it's full of ancient, Egyptian civilization.
Maybe also, Dr. Mona, we should make domestic tourism more affordable for Egyptians, because maybe at times of economic hardship, people do not find enough money to spend on tourism. They want to, but they have other responsibilities that are more essential. So what about getting the prices down of touristic activities, especially for locals? How
Let
would
me
this
tell you
help?
something about nearby areas by here. Historical religious complex. جامع عمرو بن العاص, the hanging castle, and this area includes Islamic, religious, and Judaism, the three religions in one street. Can you imagine? This makes you feel like the artistic philosophy makes it highly encouragement to go and visit. This is for free, these areas, the mosque or church or
Right.
Mona, El Fustat area or region is one of the zones that you especially is interested in. And to my knowledge, you made a turning point in this place, of course, as a figure here. Tell us more about the activities that you did or you made in the Fustat, in Fustat area.
Actually, the most biggest museum in Egypt, Egyptian museum, and the National Cultural Museum in the Fustat. This is a very important area where we should take care of and focus on. Egypt is focused already by the whole world, worldwide. And this full of history and national civilization for the ancient Egyptian. How many know about it? I used to be asked about is it open or closed? Can we visit this area or no? People, they don't know even if this place is open or no. And I guess, or I think, it's important to make like
Raise awareness.
Advertisement?
yes, yes, for people
Social
to know.
media?
Yes, yes.
So what's special exactly, Mona, in El Fustat, or Dr. Mona in El Fustat area? What's very special, you said?
The National Cultural Museum.
The National Culture Museum. Yeah.
It includes about 50,000 pieces of historical
Archaeology.
yes,
Archaeology.
archaeological.
It's the first Islamic capital for Cairo, isn't it? Al Fustat.
The first Islamic mosque, Jami' Amr ibn al-As.
Right.
And the first Islamic museum, it is in the middle of the country, in the, you know, the middle, it's far away by about 10 minutes.
Fustat is the area that we used to in Egypt call Masr al-Adima, right?
Yes.
Well, this is what we call
Yes.
old Egypt. So, of course, a beautiful place and a very intriguing place and a place that one has to visit, especially the museum you talked about. So, Dr. Mona, I guess that's... and Rana, that's all the time we have. We thank you very much, Dr. Mona Akkad, for being with us here in this episode. And Dr. Mona is a consultant of hearing and balance disorders and also founder of the Walk and Know Your Country initiative. Thank you, Dr. Mona.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mona.
Thank you for talking about any positive issue in our country.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mona, for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you with us in today's episode. Dear viewers, this was the segment of Nile Cruise on Nile TV. Stay with us. We'll be back again.